There's something powerful about the person who works in silence. While everyone else is posting their plans, announcing their goals, seeking validation for every move, the silent ones are actually building something real.
I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I was that person who needed to tell everyone what I was working on. I needed the likes, the comments, the encouragement. But you know what I discovered? Every time I spoke about my goals, I lost a piece of my motivation to actually achieve them.
There's science behind this. When you announce your intentions, your brain gets a small dopamine hit, like you've already accomplished something. But you haven't. You've just talked about it. The silent person understands this. They know that talking is the enemy of doing.
Think about the people you most admire, the ones who seem to have their life together, who achieve things that leave you wondering, how did they do that? I guarantee you, they weren't broadcasting every step on social media. They were working, quietly, consistently, relentlessly.
When you focus on yourself, truly focus, you stop competing with everyone else's highlight reel. You stop measuring your behind the scenes against their finished product. You start competing with who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today.
I remember a conversation with a mentor who told me the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. At first, I didn't understand, but now I see it everywhere. The person constantly talking about their success is usually the one struggling the most. The person who's actually winning, they're too busy winning to announce it.
Silence protects your energy. Every time you share your plans with the wrong people, you invite their doubt into your mind. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some people are threatened by your growth because it highlights their stagnation.
When you stay silent, you stay in control. You don't give others the chance to plant seeds of doubt. You don't have to defend your vision or convince anyone it's worth pursuing. You just pursue it.
But here's what focusing on yourself really means. It means saying no to distractions disguised as opportunities. It means choosing growth over comfort, discipline over convenience, long-term vision over short-term pleasures.
The most successful people I know have mastered the art of selective attention. They guard their focus like their life depends on it, because it does. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and most people give it away for free. Let me tell you about a friend who transformed his entire life through silence. 2 years ago, he was broke, living paycheck to paycheck, constantly complaining about his situation on social media. Everyone knew his problems, his struggles, his plans to change. Then something shifted. He disappeared from social media, stopped talking about his goals, stopped seeking sympathy for his struggles. People thought he'd given up, but he was doing the opposite. He was finally getting started. Every morning at 4 a.m., while others were sleeping or scrolling through their phones, he was studying, learning new skills, building his craft. Not a single post about his early mornings, not one story about his progress, just pure, focused work. Fast forward 18 months, this same person launched a business that generated 6 figures in its first year, bought his first home, transformed his physical health. When people asked him how he did it, his answer was simple. I stopped talking and started working.
That's the power of silence. While everyone else is building their personal brand around their potential, the silent ones are building their actual results around their work. They understand that success isn't a spectator sport.
When you work in silence, you develop something precious, internal validation. You stop needing others to believe in your dreams because you're too busy making them real. You stop seeking permission because you're too busy taking action.
There's a Japanese concept called Kaizen, continuous improvement in small incremental steps. The silent achiever embodies this perfectly. They're not making dramatic announcements about life changes. They're making small, consistent improvements every single day.
1% better every day for a year equals 37 times better by the end. But here's the key. Those daily improvements are nearly invisible to others. They're silent victories that compound into extraordinary results.
The world will try to pull you back into the noise. Friends will ask why you're not posting anymore. Family will wonder why you're not sharing your plans. Society will make you feel guilty for not celebrating every small win publicly.
But the silent ones know better. They understand that energy spent on external validation is energy stolen from internal progress. Every like you chase is a moment you could have spent improving. Every comment you seek is focus you could have invested in your craft.
I've watched people destroy their own momentum by announcing their goals too early. They tell everyone they're starting a business before they've written the business plan. They announce their fitness journey before they've established a routine. What happens? They get encouragement for their intentions, not their results. Their brain rewards them for the announcement, reducing the motivation to do the actual work. They become addicted to the planning phase because it gets them attention without requiring results.
The silent approach is different. You start before you're ready. You work before you announce. You build before you brand. You become before you proclaim. This isn't about being antisocial, it's about being pro-progress.
When you focus on yourself, you develop an intimate relationship with your own potential. You stop looking for others to define your worth and start discovering it through your actions. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and start asking, "What will this make me become?"
The silent person understands that their greatest competition isn't their neighbor or their colleague, their former self. They're not trying to impress anyone. They're trying to express their highest potential through consistent action.
There's incredible freedom in this approach. No pressure to maintain an image, no need to defend your methods, no obligation to explain your timeline. You can change direction without public embarrassment. You can fail privately and learn quietly.
But here's what happens when you truly commit to this path. Your results start speaking louder than any announcement ever could. People notice the change in your energy, your confidence, your presence. They see the transformation even when you haven't said a word about it.
Success has a way of making itself known. When you've been working in silence for months or years, building something real, the results eventually become impossible to hide. But by then, you're not seeking recognition. You're already on to the next challenge.
The silent achiever becomes magnetic not because they're trying to attract attention, but because they've developed something rare in our noisy world, genuine substance. They've traded the temporary high of external validation for the lasting satisfaction of internal growth.
So focus on yourself. Stay silent about your moves. Work when others sleep. Build when others browse. Improve when others complain. In a world full of talkers, be a doer. In a world of announcements, be an achievement.
Remember, the loudest sound in the universe isn't the sound of someone talking about their dreams. It's the sound of dreams becoming reality. And that sound only comes from those who chose to work in silence and let their success make the noise.
Your journey is not a performance. It's not content for social media. It's not a story for others to consume. It's a private conversation between you and your potential. Honor that conversation. Protect that space. Work in that silence. Everything else will fall into place.